What's going on, everyone? I am just a typical, average American here today to react to some reports that many American businesses are starting to get pretty desperate for Canadian customers to come back. And so I've actually done a few videos looking at the unbelievable decline in Canadians traveling here to the United States. And I actually think that a lot of Americans, like myself, really didn't realize that Canadians actually make up a massive part of our tourism industry. And so today, I want to take a look at some proof here of how this stuff is not all just like numbers and stats on a screen. And I actually think that Trump and the US government severely underestimated the consequences of pissing off Canadians, you know? And so today I want to check this out and see how American businesses are struggling to respond to this whole situation. So let's take a look.
There's been a steady decline of Canadians traveling to the U.S., mainly because of negative feelings towards the Trump administration.
Well, President Trump has said Americans don't need Canadian products. Some U.S. resorts say they want Canadian tourists to return.
That is so, it's so frustrating. And I can only imagine how frustrating this must be from a Canadian perspective, like being the target of all this stuff and hostility and threats from the US. And it's a different kind of frustrating here in the United States if you have like half a brain. Like, I think one big aspect is that like the arrogance for Donald Trump when he started doing all this, when it first started, like the first tariffs on Canada out of nowhere. And he was like, don't worry, guys. Like, we don't need Canada. Screw them. They're taking advantage of us and sending all these drugs to. Okay, yeah, you could go on and on about that. And this will be really good for the United States. We'll screw over Canada, like our best ally, and this will be real good for the U.S. And like, it's literally been the opposite. This has been, it's bad for Canada, but you guys have managed to like miraculously like turn this whole situation around where you're growing farther away from the United States. You don't rely on us as much anymore. You're making all these amazing trade deals with like Finland and stuff, and so things look like it's going good for Canada. And like things have just literally gone downhill for the United States ever since this began. So yeah, when they say that things are like not going well, they're not kidding with this.
Here's Pat Foran with a consumer alert.
Border towns were the first to notice the impact of Canadians refusing to cross into the U.S., but now many states have seen drops in Canadian tourism of 20 to 60%.
I mean, it's unbelievable. 20 to 60%? I already said this, but we severely underestimated, like, Canadians, your resolve, like your passion, and perhaps how much you hold a grudge. Now, I wouldn't even, like, frame it like that, because it's like, the United States, even as an American, it's plain to see we caused this. We started this fight. And Canada is just like responding in a very reasonable way, to be honest. Like from some of the things I've heard, there is so much worse things. Like, you guys could be like cutting off electricity to us. You could be cutting off oil to us. You could be cutting up, like doing like a lot more damage. Instead, it's just like a travel boycott and boycotting our goods, which, don't get me wrong, that's obviously been very, very bad. But it's just it's like it's incredible how much the United States relies on Canada for a lot of this stuff, and we don't even realize it. Like they said at first, it's like, yeah, this is just stuff that Americans didn't really think about. I think if you're a business owner by the border, you immediately started to feel the effects of this. But, you know, there's a ton of us Americans that are way further south but now it's gotten to the point, like a year later, where the businesses all over the U.S. are starting to feel the pain.
Some hotels in Las Vegas are now rolling out programs to try and entice Canadians to come back.
This is this is Las Vegas, and they're starting to roll out programs to encourage Canadians to come. Okay, I'm interested. What is Las Vegas doing to try to like get Canadians to? If you're Canadian, I want you to listen to this. Like, what Las Vegas, like what are we offering? Is this enough to convince you to come here to Las Vegas?
A U.S. report found that in 2024, Canadian tourism contributed more than $20 billion to the U.S. economy and supported 140,000 American jobs.
That's another big one, too. 140,000 American jobs. Yeah, I know I've already said this, but pissing off Canadians is like one of the most epic historical self-owns, biggest backfires in American history. I'm calling it right now. Hundreds of thousands of jobs. Like, yeah.
But as many Canadians refuse to travel to the U.S., the hospitality industry is hurting. That's especially true in Las Vegas.
There's all the hotels behind me. They all want Canada to come back just as much as I do.
Derek Stevens, the CEO of Circa Resort and Casino, the D Las Vegas, and the Golden Gate Hotel and Casino, is taking a gamble that some Canadians will come back with a dollar-for-dollar deal.
We miss Canadians. And for me personally, I grew up in a border town of Detroit and Windsor, and I got to see how close we really all were.
Oh, that's an interesting perspective he actually has, like living by the border. That's interesting, actually. This is the CEO of a bunch of Las Vegas hotels. Las Vegas is obviously one of the biggest tourism sectors of the United States. Just another thing that you got to think, like, Donald Trump was not thinking about when he made all the trade war decisions, like that this is affecting so much of our tourism right now. What is dollar for dollar? What do we mean? Like, what's that mean? What's the deal here that we're giving out?
Stephen says at his resorts, Canadians will get a financial break until August 31st with the At Par program. Canadian guests will receive $1 U.S. in value for every Canadian dollar spent, regardless of the daily exchange rate.
Whoa! Wait a minute. That actually sounds pretty good. Wait a minute. How much is for every $1 Canadian dollar, that's just going to equal $1 US when you're in Las Vegas? That you could have quite a time. And what it is Las Vegas we're talking about here. That actually sounds insane. Like, how much is Las Vegas hurting where, like, these guys are willing to give away free money? And I'm not trying to, like, convince anyone to go take advantage of this thing or go off to Las Vegas and gamble and stuff, but I'm curious, like, from a Canadian point of view, like, is this exciting? Does this, like, make you feel like you want to fly out to Vegas? Like, how much value is this? Like, how much is let me look this up, actually. How much is a Canadian dollar to a US dollar right now? It is. Here we go. 1 Canadian dollar equals 73 cents US. Huh. Oh, wow. What's the graph say? So, yeah, right now the Canadian dollar is like at a low point historically. It's actually pretty low compared to the US dollar. That kind of sucks, huh? I gotta say, well, two things. This seems like a good deal because if you spend your Canadian dollar here in Las Vegas, you're getting like 25% more value. Like, and the other thing is, this would kind of matter to me because I would hate going somewhere where my money only like is worth 73 cents. Like every dollar was worth 73 cents. I would not want to go there. I'd be like, screw that. Like, that sucks. That's not fun. Like, hold on. I think, like, for example, Europe, right? Hold on. Yeah. Like, in Europe, the euro, 1 US dollar is 85 European cents or whatever they call it. That would suck. Like, I'm sure Europe is a really cool place, but going there and every one of my dollars is like 85 cents. For Canadians, I guess it's worse. But anyway, not to stop anyone from traveling or anything, but just kind of stopping and thinking about, like, is this actually a good deal? And yeah, for going to Las Vegas, it actually seemed like that just shows you right there how desperate, like, the Las Vegas businesses are. They're giving away like 27% free money for the exchange rate. That literally right there shows you how much money they're losing from Canadians not coming. Wow, if you think of it that way, like, how desperate, how much money do you have to be missing out on to give away this good of a deal? Like, it's not like insane, but it's pretty good.
I want to make sure that Canadians know you still have a lot of friends in America.
I understand why they're doing it. It's been really hard on American tour operators, the loss of the Canadian visitor.
Lauren Christie says he's not surprised Las Vegas casinos want to roll the dice on an idea to get Canadians back, but he questions if it will be enough.
I'm not sure that it's going to have much of effect. It may entice a few people going down, but anecdotally, from what I hear, people are just not interested in going to the United States this year.
You know, I tend to, like, agree with that sentiment. It's like, I keep asking, like, oh, I wonder what Canadians think about this. If I have to, like, hypothesize, it's like, if you don't want to go to the United States, like, from a philosophical or moral or political standpoint or whatever, like, 27 extra cents for your dollar probably isn't going to, I'm sure it'll sway some people, but it's not going to make like a massive difference.
Stevens says along with hotel charges being at par with the U.S. dollar, Canadians will be able to redeem up to $500 in slot promotional play, as well as get deals on drinks. He's hopeful some Canadians will make the trip.
I could say there's a lot of Americans that hope that some of the rhetoric dies down and we get back to being what we really are, allies and best friends.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, let's be clear. This is Las Vegas. Like, these are businesses. Like, this guy seems genuine and all, the CEO, but at the end of the day, like, come on. They obviously just want, like, Canadians' money. Not that there's nothing, like, wrong with that. Like, you gotta run every business has the goal of not just serving their customers, but making money. There's nothing wrong with that, but I don't know. Some of these guys are like, oh, I really miss Canadians. And it's like, you miss their money is what you miss.
As Canadians shun U.S. travel, you can expect to see more promotions to try to get you to cross the border. But as long as tensions remain, even a dollar-for-dollar deal may not be enough to get Canadians to visit the U.S. Yeah. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
Wow. I have another video here that I want to check out. This is about Maine. Another example where Maine is feeling the pain. And Maine, unlike Las Vegas, Maine is like on the border, right? So this is real significant for Maine businesses.
Border crossings between Canada and the United States continue to look quieter than usual. This comes a little over a year since U.S. President Donald Trump was inaugurated for his second term, and Canadians became wary of heading south. Recently, Statistics Canada said return trips from the U.S. were down 22% in January 2026 compared to January 2025,
Oh my God.
which marks 13 straight months of year-over-year declines.
Oh my God.
One state disproportionately impacted by a drop in tourism is New Brunswick's neighbor, Maine. The state has historically been a tourism destination for Maritimers, and a good deal of the state's economy relies on it.
That sucks for the American businesses that are like the border states. I think they're probably getting disproportionately screwed by all this. And again, this is not to make Canadians feel bad or like guilt trip you or anything. I hope I'm not coming across that way. The pain that American businesses are feeling are, like, at the end of the day, really a result of the policy decisions of our government and Donald Trump. And yeah, so just to make that clear.
And the reduction in Canadian tourists is hurting Maine's tourism industry.
Yeah.
The statistics show that in Maine, we had a 27% drop in border crossings. And for us, that's almost a
God.
million people. And just to put it in perspective, our state has 1.5 million people. So to have that many less people coming across the border, whether it's Canadian tourists or people who come for shopping or family visits, it's really been doing damage to our state.
No kidding. And it's like, if you just think about it, like if you're running a business, for a lot of businesses, their margins can be pretty tight. And it's like, you don't ever like plan like, oh, next year I'm going to lose 30% of my customer base. Or like my revenue is going to go down 30 or 50%. Like nobody is ready for that. So this is like, these businesses are probably really struggling.
The reduction isn't academic. This Maine professor says there was a visible lack of Canadians in the state last year.
Wow.
But I ride the highway going to Portland, and normally you would see license plate after license plate with Canadian from Canadians.
Sure.
And I do not see those vehicles on the road much
Wow.
anymore. You go to the coast, the same thing. Bars have seats. Last summer you could find a table. You didn't have to queue up on a restaurant because the consumer numbers had dropped tremendously.
And I think it's this is why it's so important for like Americans to check out reports like this and really understand, because it's obvious if you're in a border state like Maine, you don't need any explanation. Like you understand what's going on here. I think for a lot of Americans like that are in states like a little in middle or more southern states, because we're not on the border, we're really like don't understand how incredibly significant of a pain point this is.
Several policies implemented by the Trump administration have strained relations between the United States and Canada and impacted pocketbooks on both sides of the border.
If you talk to any Republican in a border state, they know how damaging this has been. They're experiencing the same border crossing problems.
Yeah.
They are dealing with many of the same problems. Many of them just don't like to fight back with the president.
While Republicans
So stupid. Like you're the governor of a state. Like your job is to do what's best for the people who elected you in your state, and you're afraid to like tell the president that he's screwing you over and hurting American citizens. That's embarrassing.
Republicans may privately be criticizing the president, Tijerina doesn't think there will be any significant reversal from the Trump administration.
Yeah.
I would say that the Trump administration is not going to move the needle, and they're going to stick to their set trajectory. I don't think that they worry a lot about what happens to Maine.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think that's absolutely true. I mean, where we are now is kind of a weird situation with Canada, because it's like we're so focused on war with Iran right now. The Canada stuff has kind of gone on the back burner, and like there's going to be maybe trade talks soon for the CUSMA free trade agreements that's going to come up, but the tariffs have been ruled illegal by the U.S. Supreme Court. So the tariffs are struck down, or at least the unlawful ones, and we're at war with Iran. So it's like, in that sense, I don't see the U.S. government or Trump really doing anything to try to like rekindle or amend the relationship with Canada. But I keep seeing a lot of things where Canada is growing its relationships and like trying to make Canada better, and whereas the US is like insulting all of our NATO allies, like insulting and threatening everyone and going to war that no one understands why. So what, just saying it out loud and thinking about it, what an incredible difference. Very, very tough times to be excited if you're an American. I'll say that much. So, yeah, I just thought it'd be good to like see what American businesses have to say and what they're going through. And this is really something that like the U.S. government, he's right. It feels like our government doesn't really care about the pain that normal American business owners are feeling and employees are feeling, and sad. And yeah, Americans should be really angry, just like Canadians, frankly. So yeah. Anyway, if you enjoyed this, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on American businesses desperately trying to get Canadians back, giving you free money even. Would that work on you? And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canadian things that I have never seen before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.